フィスの南からミシシッピ・ヤズーという2つの川が出会うビックスバーグまで南北300キロ東西100キロの楕円形の肥沃な土地ミシシッピデルタ。1820年代白人によるデルタの開墾が始まると同時に多くの黒人奴隷たちがこの土地に連れてこられた。彼らは過酷な労働を強いられながら土地を開墾し畑で綿花を摘み、そして同時にこのデルタで豊かな独自の音楽を育んでいった。それがデルタブルースだ。デルタという言葉にはブルースを愛する者の心を熱くする魔法がかけられている。ブルースの歴史はプランテーションと密接な関係にある。奴隷制から解放された黒人たちの中には一定の場所に住もうとせず、ブルースを歌ってプランテーションからプランテーションへと渡り歩く者たちがいた。彼らはジュークジョイントや店先でブルースを歌い、時が経つとまた別のプランテーションへと移っていった。そんなデルタブルースの発展の中でとても重要な役割を果たした場所がある。ドッカリーファームだ。今回の旅で僕らの水先案内人を務めてくれたブルース研究家ジム・オニールがドッカリーファームについて語ってくれた。
We're here at Dockery Farms near Cleveland, Mississippi, in the heart of the Mississippi Delta. This plantation is one of the most famous in blues history because it's known as the birthplace of the blues to some people. I don't think we can really specify that the blues was born here or any one place in particular, but certainly this plantation, which was known as Will Dockery's in those days, was probably the most important dissemination point for Delta blues music in this area, because so many musicians came to this plantation and swapped musical ideas with each other, and primarily because of the presence of a man named Charley Patton. Charley Patton and his family lived here, and Patton became the first major blues entertainer in the Delta. He was popular throughout the Delta, traveled all around, lived on many plantations other than here in Dockery, but Dockery remained his most frequent stopping point. And Patton did more to define the role of bluesmen. He sort of defined the way that a bluesman should live, the rambling lifestyle, the kind of rough and tumble music and life. And he also became the first major recording star of the deep Delta blues in 1929 when he recorded for the Paramount label. Among Patton's followers were Howlin Wolf, who would come here to take lessons from him. Howlin Wolf's aunt lived on this plantation. Tommy Johnson, who actually recorded before Howlin Wolf, but he came to this area when it was known as kind of a breeding ground for the blues and kind of a school, in a sense, I guess, for a lot of the early blues musicians. Roebuck Pop Staples, who is now one of the Staples singers, famous recording artist in his own right. He grew up here on Dockery's. Willie Brown used to live here, many others. And Son House was another protege of Charley Patton's. Son House lived on the other plantations north of here, not on Dockery's per se, but in the Tunica, Robinsonville, Clarksdale area. And through Son House, Robert Johnson developed a style of music that kind of followed Charley Patton's and became the most influential form of Delta blues, in that so many of his followers, such as Muddy Waters and Elmore James, Robert Jr. Lockwood, Johnny Shines, they went on to prominence, and through their music, the English bands, American bands, rock and roll bands from all over the world, in fact, adapted the Delta blues that had come from right here in this part of the country and made it famous. And today these musicians and fans of both rock and roll, popular and blues music like to come to the Delta, and especially to the Dockery Farms here, because this is kind of, whether it's the real birthplace or not, it's still like a holy site, a holy shrine in the history of popular music.
メンフィスからハイウェイ61を南に下って1時間余り。 クラークスデールはブルースの歴史のごく初期の段階から多くのブルースマンが行き来した町だった。チャーリー・パットン、サンハウス、ロバート・ジョンソン、サニー・ボイ・ウィリアムソン、マディ・ウォーターズ、ロバート・ジュニア・ロックウッド、そしてここはジョン・リー・フッカーやアイク・ターナーの生まれた町でもある。現在シカゴからこの町に戻ってきて若い人々にブルースを教えている男がいる。ジョニー・ビリントン。彼のバンドのドラマーはまだ12歳の少年だ。
Well, two reasons I came back to Clarksdale. Well, one reason that I had my mother that lived here and had lived here all her life, and she never did want to ever leave this area. So I'm my only son, so I said, well, okay, I'll move back. And then after getting back, I found out that nobody was playing the blues around here anymore. 20 years or so had passed and the blues had died down. So then I started with some young fellows on the riverbank here, playing, and then they found themselves interested, and so we started picking on the guitar and the drums and stuff, and I started to buy some equipment and organized the band, and then from that we kept going. Well, I really wanted to keep, as years went on, I noticed that the heritage of the blues was dying out, and so I wanted to start teaching younger generations so that we could keep the heritage alive. And a lot of the other blues musicians that I knew that was professional musicians, contract musicians, they just didn't basically have the time. And so I felt, well, you know, I pursue it to try to pass it on to another generation rather than pursue it to the fact of just being a career of music. You know, I wanted to be able to pass it on so it can keep alive. Well, yeah, I prefer them becoming professional musicians and at the same time keeping the heritage of the blues alive, because this is where it was originally born in the Delta, and I would like to see it continue to be taught and played in the Delta.
How sweet little angel, love the way she spreads her wings. Yes, how sweet little angel, love the way she spreads her wings. When they spread the wings around me, great joy and everything. That's my baby for a nickel, and today didn't hit down a bill. Yeah, that's my baby for a nickel, and today didn't hit down a bill. Well, I took a small drink of liquor, and she bought me a whiskey deal.
クラークスデールは北部デルタの中心地として栄えた。しかし今のこの町に当時の面影はない。人口は2万人余り、3分の2は黒人であり、その多くが政府の援助を受けながら生活している。1943年5月の暑い日、マディ・ウォーターズがシカゴへ行こうと汽車に乗り込んだ駅も今は廃墟だ。そんなクラークスデールにウェイド・ウォルトンというブルースマンの床屋がいる。
I wanted to be around home with my family, and you know, I had a lot of customers depending on me cutting their hair. That I've been cutting their hair for little boys. For instance, this young man in the chair, been cutting his hair ever since he was a little boy. And after he grown up and got married, he came up with some kids and I started cutting their hair. So it goes back generations. And I think I like the entertainment and cutting hair. I've enjoyed that. So I didn't want to stop this to get out and really be just an entertainer alone without being in the barber business. I found barber business to be part of the entertaining too, because I meet people from all over the world. I meet people that migrated from Clarksdale, other places, my own people of my own race that live like Illinois, Los Angeles, well, practically all over. I've been in the barber business 2-3 wars, World War II, Korean War, and whatever, in the barber business. And this looked like it's just something that I'm connected with that I don't want to stop doing. I've met Ike Turner before he became a star, Tina Turner, in the barber business. Matter of fact, Ike started his music in Clarksdale. See, and I started cutting Ike's hair, and I played music with him when the times that I wasn't barbering, I'd go and play with him around close areas around, like from here to Tunica, from here to Crenshaw, and places like that, Greenville, and the next day I'd be back in the barbershop. Well, the different texture, I would say, what you're doing, you think about that a lot of food and stuff that people raise, they raise their food, you know? And this had something to do with the lifestyle, the style of living had something to do with the music. It changed it around, see? See, a lot of, just like on the farm, for what people are doing now, they live in the city, they go to the store and buy that food. A lot of food we didn't have to go to the store and buy, we raised it. So this made a difference in style, it changes music along with that, you know. Won't you rock me, baby? Rock me all night long. Rock me, baby, rock me all night long. I want you to rock me like my back ain't got no bones. See me coming, baby.
多くのブルースマンがより良い生活を求めて北へと向かった。メンフィス、セントルイス、そしてシカゴ。 だが中にはそんな都会からデルタへと戻ってきたブルースマンもいる。ロバート・ナイトホークの息子サム・カーもその一人だ。ドラマーでもありギタリストでもある彼は1960年セントルイスを離れデルタへと戻ってきた。そんな彼からブルースの手ほどきを受け、彼を師と慕っているのが現在37歳のロニー・シールズだ。ロバート・ナイトホークをブルースの第一世代とするなら、サム・カーとロニー・シールズはまさにブルースの第二世代第三世代にあたる。そんな二人にサム・カーの家であった。
You know, I don't know. I just really always liked the music because I played the thing on the side of the wall when I was a little boy running around the house there, 8, 9, 10 years old. And then I learned that my daddy was a musician. And then one reason he told me I never played nothing. Well, he's right about singing. I never been able to sing with nothing. But he said I'd never learned to play drums. And I told him, oh yeah, I learned. So he hired 3 or 4 more boys along with me, and they learned right fast. So I didn't. So when I got my band, I told him, come on and play with me a while. So he come on and play a couple nights with me. He said, well, you finally learned. Yeah. Well, so that's where I got into the music. But I always liked the music. I just, a lot of guys playing it. I wasn't able to go in while they was playing, but I'd sit outside and listen at them. Like back in the 50s, when all them fellows in St. Louis, I don't know who all it was, Little Milton, Abercrombie, them, they was playing, and I said, shoot, so I'm going to show them that I can play too. So I finally got around to trying to play. I'm still trying. Yeah, well, what it is, it finds out a lot of people don't like to work really hard. And they find out when they go there, it ain't all sugar and cream like the people came down with pockets of money and the big fine cars, and they don't know how they got it. And here lately, they come down in big fine cars, they done rent it. And you think, well, oh man, that guy really living, you know. And he get back, he got scuffled another 6 months or a year before he can come back again and show off with a big roll of money then, you know. And that's what fooled a lot of people from the country. Because I did it myself. I'd come back down here, man, I had an old car all painted up and about $80 or $90 in my pocket, which was big money, you know, and I'm just showing off down here and driving my car. And they didn't know it, but my godmother had to send me back home. I got broke. That's the way it went. Yeah. Yeah, shit.
Well, one day I was depressed. I went into, like you call a juke joint, and I heard B.B. King singing 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was kind of hurt that day, and I said, sound like this man, sound like he's hurt. And I listened to the lyrics of the song, then I found out it's just like living everyday life, what he was singing about. And that's what I feel about the blues, is a person feeling real low. When I was, say, 16 years old, I hated the blues because it's nothing, it wasn't appealing to me until I listened to the lyrics. The music didn't sound direct to me. As a young man, I felt that soul was better to me than the blues. Just like today, kids think rap is more better than the blues to them, but until they listen to the lyrics of the song, then they would find out there's more to the blues than listen to the music. You must listen to the lyrics of the song, and it defines where you're coming from. I can walk out the door today and I can have the blues because the fact that I live the blues. Until you live the blues, you can feel the blues. So that's my theory of the blues. I have lived them. That's why I sing them. That's why I play them.
クラークスデールから東へ1時間余り、平坦な土地が丘陵地帯になろうとする場所にオックスフォードという古い大学町がある。ロニー・ピッチフォードと出会い、彼の演奏を聴いたのはそのオックスフォードだった。ピッチフォードも37歳、ロニー・シールズと共にデルタの若い世代を代表するミュージシャンだ。彼はロバート・ジュニア・ロックウッドからギターを学んだ。そんなロニーの存在はブルースの伝統が今でもこのデルタで息づいていることの証明だ。
Old music. Blues is not old music. Blues, man. You cannot begin to explain to me the definition of blues alone. You cannot begin to explain the definition of blues. Blues is trouble. That's an example. Blues is trouble. Number one. Blues is heartache. Number two. Blues is happiness. Number three. Blues is money. Number four. I say like that. Blues is. You got the blues now, I bet you. You got the blues with that earphone in your ear right there. Yeah. And blues is not only a music, it's art. It's art form, you know. And you look at blues from a bluesman's perspective point of view. You know, you look at blues from a bluesman's point of view. When you want to play with bad feelings from your soul, blues works as a voodoo doctor to you. I say like that. Blues satisfies your thirst for understanding, and also blues also teaches a lot too about life. I have to add that. You know. Just that's that. Well, it started like I started out like. Man, I didn't have very much money when I come up, like 25 cents, maybe about 5 cents. So I'm lucky to get 5 cents a week, you know, like something like that for picking cotton, something like that. So my mama always kept the money. Okay, how much cotton I picked. She always kept the money, gave me the change. But anyway, I didn't have enough to buy no instruments, nothing like that, so I had to improvise, you know, and make my own instruments outside the wall, you know. And one string guitar, one time she whooped me, almost whooped me. She didn't whoop me, really whooped me, but she almost whooped me for tearing up a broom to get a piece of wire for to make me a one string upside the house, you know. And that was blues too. Yeah.
come on in my kitchen. Girl, it's going to be baby outdoors. Now, woman, your love took to my best friend. Sucked up and got lucky, stole her back again. You better come on in my kitchen. It's going to be baby outdoors. I love another woman, just I love you. You can't make the winner, babe, just drive her slow. You better come on in my kitchen. It's going to be playing outdoors.
オックスフォードから南へ1時間余り下るとグレナダという町がある。マジック・サムやマジック・スリムが生まれ育った町だ。この町にジョン・ウィリアム・ハートというミュージシャンが住んでいる。マンという愛称を持つ彼はミシシッピ・ジョン・ハートの息子だ。ブルースマンというよりいわゆるソングスターとして独自の位置を占めていたミシシッピ・ジョン・ハート。そんな父親譲りの味わい深いスタイルを持つ彼は町の酒屋で僕らを待っていてくれた。
I am 61 years of age, and I started music when I was 10 years old. I would go up under the bed and get my daddy's guitar out, and he would tell me sometimes, say, put it down. And when he turned his back, I would slip and get it again. And so I asked him one time, I said, Daddy, please show me how to note the guitar. He showed me one time. Then the next time I asked him, I said, Daddy, please show me how to note the guitar. He says, just like riding a bicycle. Once you learn, you never forget it. And it went just like this here. And as usual, I first do a sacred song. Will that be all right with you all? If I could, I'll show you. Stand on the rock where I move. There rolled on the grass. Oh, maybe. Oh, maybe not. All around God's holy throne. There rolled on the grass drowning. Oh, maybe don't you know. Oh yes, I remember he used to play with a man by the name of Willie Hayes. And he couldn't say, Willie Hayes couldn't say him, he said her. He called the man her. Her wants you to play for him tonight. And so they would put a big black pot out there in the yard, and then they would boil a goat and barbecue a goat. And it'd be an all-night thing. Like on Saturday night, the all-night thing. People be eating goat and dancing by Dad's music. And some of it would go just like this here. me all the time. Well, that was this bad man. It was Cruel Stagger Lee. I don't know why y'all heard of him. He was a bad man. Just the way it goes. Boom, boom. Wearing a 44. Still Stagger Lee killed Billington line. Yeah, no. He was a bad man. Oh, Cruel Stagger Lee. He was a bad man. Oh, Cruel Stagger Lee. Officer and jury says, how can it be you can rest? Everybody was Cruel Stagger Lee. He was a bad man. Oh, Cruel Stagger Lee. He was a bad man. Oh, Cruel Stagger Lee.
ブルースには多くの伝説がある。その中で最も有名なのがクロスロードの伝説だろう。トミー・ジョンソンやロバート・ジョンソンがクロスロード、つまり十字路の真ん中で悪魔に魂を売り、ギターを教えてもらったという伝説。悪魔の音楽と言われていたブルースならではの話だ。しかしそんな伝説の本当の意味を教えてくれたブルースマンがいた。マジック・サムやオールマン・ブラザーズもカバーした「You Don't Love Me」のオリジナルとして知られるウィリー・コブスだ。
The crossroad is not in Mississippi. I said the crossroad is when you make a decision. Now Robert Johnson, he made the decision. But y'all say he sold his soul to the devil because this all came out. I said, but the crossroad started between Christ and the devil. Followed back. I said, when good Lord and the devil came down that road together, the devil wanted his best angel. He's God's right-hand man. But one day the devil woke up, he said, Lord, I see something over there on the other side of that field that you ain't let me get to. I see some pretty women over there. I see them got some alcohol they drink. Lord, we need to have a good time. He said, no, come on. The devil followed him a little while longer. He pushed him again. Well, Lord, if you just got to go, I'm trying to lead you right. But now, if you want to go wrong, go ahead on your own. That was the crossroad. That's when they divided. Two powerful people, the most powerful people on the face of the earth, and they divided themselves. The devil went this way, and God went that way. That's the crossroad. Now, any other crossroad they bring up, I say, well, it's just a figure of speech. It's in everybody's heart. The crossroad of life. See, crossroad ain't nothing but a word. It's just like you and a woman. If y'all, or you and your wife, if y'all go so far together, and she decided, she said, I can't go your way no longer. I got to turn you loose. Well, you at the crossroad, baby. You got a choice to make. Either you gonna go with me or you go there. That's the crossroad. You got a choice to make. And she make the choice and leave you. That's the crossroad. That's crossroad is in everybody. It's not only in the blues, it's in every walk of life. All you gotta do is just sit back and look at it. Loving you is just like fighting alone. Oh, I said, trying to love you is just like fighting alone. I know I haven't got no wind, but I would love to stick around.
クラークスデールからハイウェイ61を南へ1時間半。そこにジョニー・ウィンターが幼い頃住んでいたという町リーランドがある。この町にミシシッピでは B.B. キングと並ぶほど名の知られたブルースマンがいる。ジェームス・サントーマス。独特のスタイルでブルースをプレイする彼はガンボクレイという粘土と本物の髪の毛や歯を使って人の顔の彫像を作り上げるフォークアーティストでもある。
Yeah, I remember the first time I played at a juke joint. A man come by and asked my grandmother, could I go with him to play? And she told him, yeah. We went and stayed all night. Well, I tell you, You listen at B.B. King and Albert King records. They all played in the same style. But see, now I changed the style of mine. And they can't do that. What is blues? Well, there's 2 or 3 ways you can have the blues. You can get broken, you got the blues. You can get hungry, and you got the blues. You got a good woman and she quit you, that's the blues. It's more than one way you can have the blues. Oh, well, I don't wait too late now to start something else. Yeah. The Smoky Mountain, that's a dangerous place to go.
フォードから北へ40分ほど走ったところにチュラホマという小さな町がある。その町の外れ、森の中を走る道路の脇にポツンと2軒の家が建っている。1軒は R.L. バーンサイドの住む家、そしてもう1軒はジュニア・キンブローが持っているジュークジョイントだ。ジュークジョイントには何のサインも看板もない。バーンサイドとキンブローは週末の夜になるとここで演奏する。2人のスタイルはまさにミシシッピという土地が育んだものだ。
Worked sharecrops until about 20 years ago, and then I started, like I said, about 15 years ago, then I started driving, tractors, working by the day on the farms. Because I wasn't good enough with music to make a living, No, I was always, like I said, I was always a country boy. I liked it, small places, City life was not my kind of living. I like to be out where I can hunt and fish and go on, Wasn't no juke joints and things then. We go to them house parties, somebody give a party at their home, and we'd sit there and party around a while. Yeah, eat all they cook up a lot of food and play music and drink a lot of roast nails, you know, a lot of corn whiskey. They liked that. The more they drank, the more they played. If I was to give you some drinks, you could just play all night. As long as they give you a drink, you like to drink, you'd get to play all night, see? Yeah, well, like I said, with me farming, then, you know, I could make a living out of the farming and a few extra dollars on Friday nights, you know, playing music, so that was a good life, I thought, you know, yeah. Well, like I say, I like blues, but I like all the music, but I like blues better. Yeah, I like, you know, country western or any kind of type of music, but I just like blues better. It's some rap music I don't like, but I like all the rest of it. I can sit and listen to it. Well, like I said, when it started off, of course now people just get up and play the blues, you know. But when it started off, people were playing the blues about how they felt, how they was treated, and something he wanted to say and he couldn't say it, he could say it in a song, you know. As the woman done left him or something, he'd feel bad about that and he'd talk about that.
Well, that's what I started out, and, you know, I like the blues, and it's a lot of people like the blues. You know, older people, some younger white guys, they like it too, like they like blues. But these young dark Joe, they don't care too much for it. Not these young ones. Well, that's just a young generation coming up. They wasn't brought up on the blues. They come up on the rap. Well, you take some of them. Some of the young guys, they like blues too, you know. Some of them just don't like it. You got more young white that like blues than you do a young black. Blues will tell you a lot of things. And a lot of things are true, you know what I mean? Most blues singers, when they make a song, it's just about a true song, see.
ジュークジョイント。ブルースマンのプレーに合わせて人々が武器で足を踏み鳴らし、スローブルースで腰を振り、酒と音楽を心から楽しんだ場所、ブルースの育った場所、そんな場所がまだしっかりと生きていた。バーンサイドとキンブローのプレー、そしてそこに集まった人々の現在の姿を紹介しよう。 デルタからシカゴへ。冬のデルタはどんなに寒くてもなかなか気温が零下に下がらないが、冬のシカゴではどんなに暖かくてもほとんど0度から上に上がることはない。しかしそれでも北の方がいい。南部にいて綿を摘み小作人として細々と暮らすくらいなら都会に行って一旗あげてみたい。そう思った南部の黒人たちは小さな町やプランテーションを捨て大都市を目指した。もちろんブルースマンたちもその例外ではなかった。デルタのすぐ北のメンフィス、その北にあるセントルイス、そしてそのまた北のシカゴ。彼らの多くにとってシカゴは最終目的地だった。その証拠にマディ・ウォーターズやハウリン・ウルフをはじめとしてシカゴで活躍したブルースマンのほとんどがミシシッピで生まれている。シカゴブルースは大都会で生きるデルタの人々が育てた音楽だ。40年代から50年代、そして現在に至るまでシカゴのブルースシーンをしっかりと支えてきた場所がある。マックスウェルストリート。日曜の朝になるとここには市が立ち、人々が集まってくる。多くのブルースマンがそこで演奏することから始め、次々とレコードデビューしていった。人々が行き交うロードサイドで演奏し小銭を稼ぐブルースマン。ジム・オニールがそんなマックスウェルストリートについて語ってくれた。
We're on Maxwell Street in Chicago. This is one of the city's most colorful and historic shopping areas. It was founded by Jewish merchants, mainly immigrants from Russia in the early 1900s, and for that reason the blues singers always called it Jewtown. Blues was one of the things that you could always buy here, along with furniture, clothes, hubcaps, gold chains, whatever you wanted. You can still buy it today. Maxwell Street's been a part of blues history, at least since the 1920s, when Papa Charlie Jackson made a record called Maxwell Street Blues for the Paramount label in Chicago. Blues singers would sing on the street here. They would just wander up and down the street, or sometimes find themselves a spot and just have a tin cup that people would put money in, or someone would pass the hat for them, or a cigar box or a bucket. People would throw nickels and dimes and quarters. And there were gospel singers, folk singers, blind street musicians that would stroll up and down the street, preachers, comedians, all kinds of entertainers. Anything you wanted in Maxwell, you could get it. And blues recording is closely connected with Maxwell Street in Chicago history as well, because of a store called Maxwell Radio. Maxwell Radio used to be not only the great place to find blues records here, but you could actually make them there. Blues singers would go and pay a few dollars, and the store had a disc cutting machine. And so a singer could take his guitar in and just cut his own record for just little or no money. And the store had its own record label as well. In 1947, that label, which was called Ornell, recorded Little Walter's first record. They also recorded Jimmy Rogers. Those are regarded as very historic Chicago blues recordings. Little Walter used to play on the street here. When he was a teenager, he'd play his harmonica for change, and got well known doing that. And Muddy Waters may have played here. Muddy was associated, of course. His band included Little Walter and Jimmy Rogers around that period. Muddy always said that he didn't play on Maxwell Street, but some people remember him playing on the street. Robert Night Dog definitely did play here, and in fact recorded one of the great live albums of all time here in 1964. The Blues Brothers shot some scenes for the movie here. John Lee Hooker and some members of Muddy's band were seen playing on the street, and then Aretha Franklin and Matt Guitar Murphy were in a scene in Nate's Delicatessen, which is also right on Maxwell Street. Some singers preferred not to play Maxwell Street after they got famous because it was regarded as more of the amateurs' places, a place for, once you got established, it maybe was a lower status if you played Maxwell Street. I remember Johnny Young, one of those early recording artists in Maxwell Street, telling me when I asked him in the 1970s if he still played the street, he said, "Man, I don't play Maxwell Street, I make records now." But blues has continued here on Sunday mornings throughout the years. There's not as much blues left here, and there's not as much of Maxwell Street left, unfortunately, either. The old stores and the tables where the vendors sell, all that is slowly starting to disappear. The area is still several blocks in area where you can still shop and find the blues on Sunday mornings. But the city has cut off one side of the market with the expressway, and the other side is being taken over bit by bit by the University of Illinois campus. And so people say that it may not last much longer, that in another 2 or 3 years all of this may be gone, which is a shame because it's played such a great role in Chicago history and in the blues. And if you still like to hear the blues, you can still hear it on Sundays. You know, people will still come, and it just feels like it did probably back in the 1950s. This is the blues right here.
シカゴのブルースシーンで最も光り輝いた男といえばやはりマディ・ウォーターズだろう。マディがこの世を去ったのは今からちょうど10年前。シカゴブルースの創世期に彼のバンドで活動していたリトル・ウォルターもオーティス・スパンももうこの世にはいない。そんな中で今でも活動を続けているのがギタリストのジミー・ロジャーズだ。彼にブルースマンたちがシカゴに集まってきた頃のこと、そしてマディのことを聞いてみた。
Musicians don't have too much of a problem communicating no way, you know. So I just went on from one extreme to another. I met Joe Willie Wilkin and Robert Jr. Lockwood, Sonny Boy, but all those guys. Little Walton, he was a youngster too. I met him back during that time. He was down there in West Memphis. And I met him again in Helena. Then he came to St. Louis, and I got a chance to see him again. Next time I met him, I was here in Chicago. And so that's where we started up from, here in Chicago. We always knew each other, but to get together and do something about it, so we started rehearsing and messing around here. Blue Smitty, guitar player, myself, Muddy Waters, after he came to Chicago. Then we formed a band and started from there. It wasn't hard for us to communicate together. They call it the Chicago blues, but it's all over the place, blues from everywhere. I said we got our break here in Chicago, and then they just named it the Chicago Blues. The Chess Boys is the one that he discovered us through Sunnyland Slim, and then we started up here, and we didn't really, any of us really know it would last this long, you know. So, but we were trying to do our best, but I didn't think it was going to hold up this long. I raised all my kids, and they're all grown, and I'm still doing it, so I enjoy it. When I came to Chicago, but it was down south, I didn't even know. One of his cousins, we were working a day job together, and he was telling me about Muddy Waters, McKinley Morganfield, he said, called it Muddy Waters, down south, wanted to come to Chicago. And maybe a year later, he did tell me, he said, Muddy was supposed to come in Chicago. I think I was in about 1945, I think it was. Muddy came, let's see, in the winter of 45, coming into 46. And then I met him as soon as he got in town, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And we started talking, communicating, and like that. And he had a job. His cousin got him a job out there at the same place that I was working, and his cousin, Dan Jones, was working there. And then he didn't like that job too well. Like, he didn't want no job, I guess, but he finally got one. He wanted to drive trucks, see. So he got him a job, helper on the truck. Then he finally learned enough about it, and then he started driving the truck. And I still was working from one job to the next. We'd play on weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Little jobs, wasn't any money in the mountain today, but we would just be out there having fun at it. And so we came up like that. Muddy, Walter, and myself. I got Walter with him. In fact, I got Otis Spann with him. I knew all those guys. I would get around a lot, see. And Muddy, he never did get around too much. He was a homer type, see. And I'd always bring those musicians to introduce him to them. And Sunderland got him to record on chess, like Lightning Hopkins was done, this acoustic thing by yourself. And he didn't like it because he didn't start playing with us. And he liked it, the sound that we was putting out. So he kept working, and then he got me on Sunderland as the cause of the whole thing, really. Because I'm glad that he's still around, you know. I talk to him once in a while.
シカゴブルースを代表するハーププレイヤーを2人挙げるとすれば、それはやはりリトル・ウォルターとジュニア・ウェルズになるだろう。マディのバンドの初代ハーププレイヤーがリトル・ウォルター、その後を継いだのがジュニア・ウェルズだった。ジュニア・ウェルズのライブを見たのはシカゴのノースウェストサイドにあるローザズというクラブ。ブルースに惚れ込んでシカゴにやってきたイタリア人の青年が開いたこのクラブで、ジュニアは少年時代マディとリトル・ウォルターに会った時のことを話してくれた。
That's when I went to Ebony Lounge on the north side on Chicago Avenue. And he came over there to meet Muddy Waters. And he asked Muddy, would it be all right if I should play a couple of tunes with him? And Muddy told him, said, well, it's all right with me. He said, but what we'll have to do, we'll have to ask Little Walter, because his Little Walter's amplifying his microphone. And if it's all right with Walter, then it's okay with me. So he walked over and he asked Walter. I don't know what he said to Walter, but Walter turned around with the laugh and said, that little peep squeak. So Muddy said, so he said, if he think he can do it, it's okay. So I went up and I played some. At that time, union scales was only $12.50. This is what Walter was making, but Muddy was making about $15 or $17 per night, or evening at that time, you know, what he was doing on Sunday matinee. And I made about $75 or $80 in tips. So Walter asked me, would it be all right if I should give him some money so we could go get a drink? I said, no. He said, why? He said, you got more money than I got. I said, well, I can't do that. He said, why? I said, because you called me a peep squeak. So that's when the police officer told me, he said, Junior, said, you can't be that. Said, you knew his harmonic, you knew his mic, and you knew his amplifier. You won't give him the money to go get the gin. So I said, okay. So I gave him the money and went and got it. So he asked me to come out the back in the alley and have a drink. I said, no, I don't drink. He said, you saying you don't drink now. I said, but one of these days you will. I said, you watch it, you will drink. I said, no, no. So he kept on begging me to take a taste, and I tasted. When I tasted, I said, no, man, no, you know. So actually, when I really found out what he meant about a thing was when I did a gig of his gig with Muddy Waters at the Apollo Theater. And I went on his gig because Walter was doing something else. And I went on his gig with Muddy, and I had my back turned, put my harmonicas down on the amplifier. And the curtain went back, and the people was clapping their hands. And when I turned around and saw all those people, I fell over my amplifier and, and everything. And then Muddy said, well, now maybe you know what we're talking about. I said, now, you walk back there and get you a little hit of that, and you'll be all right. So I went back there and got me a little hit of it and everything. Then it kind of calmed me down. And I got myself together on it. And I really enjoyed what I was doing then, you know.
people over there. Lord is upsetting everything in the barnyard. Would y'all bring it down to me? Would you bring the music down to me? Oh, the dog in the house, in the house. Oh, the dog in the house, and the dog in the house. That's your bottom dollar this morning, child. Junior, well, goddamn it's on the crowd. Y'all make an old man like me feel so good. Goddamn Sam. And I'm like I knew I was. So what? Come here, baby. Mama, hold me in your arms. Come here, buddy. Woman, hold me in your arms. You know that I got somebody to tell me something. God damn it, just like I knew.
オーティス・ラッシュは天才的なブルースマンだ。しかし有り余る才能に恵まれたことの重さを彼ほど一身に背負ってしまったブルースマンもいないだろう。50年代彼がコブラというレーベルに吹き込んだブルースは今でもその衝撃的な力を失ってはいない。まさにブルースとしか呼べない巨大な感情の塊がそこにはあった。それから約35年、シカゴのノースサイドにあるブルースエトセトラというクラブで演奏していたオーティス・ラッシュは素晴らしいブルースを聴かせながら今でもあの頃の自分を乗り越えようとしているように見えた。
Well, you know, recognition, yeah, it's been slow, you know. I didn't get what I deserved out of music. And, you know, people take and they take, and people twist music around. So I guess I lost out a lot. You know? So I didn't record, you know, because of these things, you know. I just got tired of recording, and people take your music. You know. I quit for 2 years. I quit for 2 years, maybe a little longer. Then I started back with Jim O'Neill out there. You know, he sort of helped me get back as booking. You know, he booked me a few jobs. Jim O'Neill, yeah. Nothing, just shooting pools, catching the lottery. Small lottery, not the big ones. Well, I didn't deserve it, but you know, I'm the one that didn't record. I should have recorded I should have recorded a long time ago, but I wouldn't record because of the confusions. Well, no, blues is sort of like dragging. It's been dragging ever since they discovered blues. You know, I guess that's why they call it the blues. You know, rock and roll's always got the edge. It's the money maker is rock and roll. Blues is a low market. Well, you gotta love it to play it. So I don't play the blues because I got the blues. I play it because I like the sounds. I like to sing and play. But I'm not sad when I play the blues. It's a job. It's a job. Well, they call it West Side. Matter of fact, when I first came to Chicago, I was a South Side. Matter of fact, I stayed on South Side, but they say West Side, so I don't care. But I did live at some point on the West Side, and I played on the West Side, but I also played South Side. I played all over Chicago. So they say West Side, so who am I, you know? They just name, you know, like they say Chicago Blues, right? That's the public. Chicago Blues is like blues in New York, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Mississippi, you know. It's all alike to me. New Orleans, blues is the blues. That's what I'm saying is I play the blues, but I'm not sad because I play the blues. I play it because it pays my rent. Right, it pays my rent and bills, you know. That's why I play them. In other words, if it didn't pay that, I'd quit. I'd quit right away, you know, if it didn't pay my bills.
マジックスリムにあったのはダウンタウンにあるバディガイズレジェンズというブルースクラブだった。彼はミシシッピのグレナダでマジックサムと同じ学校に通っていた。マジックスリムという名前を付けてくれたのもマジックサムだ。スリムはサムに数年遅れてシカゴにやってきたが、一度ミシシッピに帰り、62年になって再びこの町にやってきた。彼が2度目に故郷を出た時、ほとんどのブルースマンたちはすでにミシシッピを離れてしまっていたという。俺がミシシッピからシカゴにやってきた最後のブルースマンさ、と彼は言った。
Well, if you got it in you, that's all you know to do. Play the blues. Cause I can't read, I can't read no music or nothing like that. I just play by ear. I play by, what I feel. I play the way I feel. If I feel good, I play good. If I don't feel good, I don't play good. That's to myself here. A lot of them try to read it, but there's no blues on no sheet. You can't find no blues on no paper. You got to play the blues from the heart. If you don't feel it, you can't play it. Cause I didn't want to stay down there no more. I wanted to come where all the blues was. And this was this still is the capital, the blues capital. And this is where I want to be. See, I'm still a young man, see, and I ain't ready to quit yet. I'm ready to play harder, try to go further. Cause there's no end to the blues. There's no end to it. So I want to just try to go, try to go as far as I can. I don't know why is it, but biggest is into that rap. Stuff like that. But when it all boils down, they're gonna come back to the blues. All of them. Just watch it. Or the blues will never die. If I was to pass, it's somebody else gonna take it on. It'll always be here.
Well, they try. They can't nobody be like John Lee Hooker, but they try. And so there's so many of them out there. It's good. But you know, I'm going to say it, which I don't say it all the time. You don't find nobody sound like me to me. I get to what makes me so outstanding because nobody sound like John Lee Hooker. They try, but I got that deep, funky feeling, so nobody don't do that. I guess I'm gonna feel all to myself. That could be a lot of my success. Cause some of them sound almost alike, you know. When you hear one musician do some of them a lot of copies, but they're good. They're really good. They're dynamite, but they sound like the other fella, you know. Nobody sound like John Lee Hooker. It just come, I don't know, it just happened, you know. I didn't, you know, I don't read music, I don't read, but I got it here and here. So it just grabs you, you know, like that. So, you know, sometimes I'm playing on the bandstand, I get so deep and so funky. I call it funk, you know. So deep, and I sound so good to myself, and to people, I feel teardrops in my eyes. If I put on my dark shade where you won't see me crying. And I'll be feeling really good. I feel so good and so deep. I give my own self the blues. Well, it was here, that's the first thing was in the world. When the world was born, the blues was born right here with it, a man and a woman. So men like women and women like men. And you love one, her loved one mess up on you around, you know, you get sad, and you know, when God made man, he made woman, and that brought the blues into the world. Everything come from the blues, ballads, rock and roll, all of that, you know, rock. Well, rock was here been here about 80 years, that's about it. And that's why but blues been here forever. All that stuff come from the blues. If you're a good blues singer, you can always eat. You always somebody want to hear the blues. Well, nobody lives always. So you just do it while you're here and try to do it well, and you know, just what can you say? Two things you got to do in this world: pay tax and die. So you just do it while you're here. Don't worry about it when you're gone. When I'm gone, I won't be gone. You know why? Because or my name will be here, or my music will be here, all over the world. People will know John Lee Hooker just as a musician. But you just won't see me, but I'm gone. I ain't gonna try to move. I need love so bad, so bad. I need. I need love so bad, so bad. I'm trying to find a woman, wanna be mine alone, mine alone. I'm trying to find a woman, she wanna be mine alone, not the flirty type, job and carry on night and day.
growing up.
シカゴでさまざまなブルースマンのステージに触れながら僕たちは戸惑いを感じていた。デルタでブルースを聴いた時に比べてブルースがずっと遠くにあるような気がしたからだ。そう感じたのはブルースマンたちのせいではなかった。それは多分僕たちがジュークジョイントのようなあまりに親密な空間の中でデルタのブルースを体験してしまったからだと思う。そんな僕たちの戸惑いを吹き飛ばしてくれたのは、取材の最後に何の予備知識もなく訪ねてみたゲス風ラウンジというウエストサイドの小さなラウンジだった。プレイしていたのはピート&ピートカンパニーというバンド。23曲やり終えるとそこに友人らしいギタリストが飛び入りで参加した。リトル・ハウリン・ウルフという怪しげな名前のボーカリストは客たちに親しげに語りかけ、客たちは手を叩いたり何事かを叫び返したりして彼に応えていた。ゲス風ラウンジの客たちはほとんどが顔見知りだった。気軽に挨拶を交わし話をし、そしてブルースを楽しんでいた。そこはジュークジョイントとクラブのちょうど中間に位置する場所だった。僕たちはそこで最高の数時間を過ごした。ランブリー、タンブリー、ローリン、ドリフティン、そんな言葉で表されてきたように昔のブルースマンたちはいつも町から町へと転がり続けていた。そして彼らはやがて隣の町へではなく大都会へと転がっていった。デルタのジュークジョイント、シカゴのクラブ、そしてゲス風ラウンジ、さまざまな場所で今でもブルースは転がり続けている。
Hallelujah. Don't look at me funny because I'm a... What? Mercy gal. Mercy old gal. Right, can you? Right, give me that. I had to take a licking. No. Yeah, I'm gonna do like that. Give me D. Do like that. I had to take it. Well, I had to get a licking. The Lord out of praise. Did a bag. Working on my way. I'm walking. And I don't have nowhere to go. My baby's gone. Nobody's gonna come out. Oh, I had to take a licking. Get me what it do. You'll be pretty baby call. Oh, my baby. And I'll be home Sunday morning. Don't you worry about nothing. Your daddy will be home in the morning. Play like you live. Play like you live. What you say, Christ? What you say? What you say, Christ? I'm on my way, and God knows I'm on my way.
me.